Very good morning, all of you. So it's 9:30. We are starting on time. First of all, welcome to the students of Mass College from Bharath University for the session. We are so happy to have you all in Srivathsam. Just to give you a brief introduction, this has been already presented yesterday, but just to give you a brief introduction, this workshop aims to bring experts from diverse sectors to foster dialogue, collaboration, and knowledge sharing on the interrelated challenges for creating a glorious Bharath. That's what we are looking at. We have lots of expertise here in Srivathsam, and all those experts are presenting various topics. And all those topics, they will be, after presentation, there will be some discussions, question answers. Based on the outcome, papers will be written down, and all those papers will be submitted to Government of India for implementation as recommendations from Srivathsam to Government of India on different challenges what we envisage in India in currently and in future. And these are the solutions from us, suggestions, solutions, and some alternatives. That's what we are giving to them. So that's the aim. And yesterday we had 5 papers presented on various topics. You can see those topics. Yesterday afternoon was a very, very interactive session and excellent session, technical session basically. It was on data science and artificial intelligence. In the morning, there were topics about temple preservations and mainly on archaeology. On archaeology, what needs to be done in India. And then local Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat, how we have adopted and how we are taking it over. These are the topics yesterday. And today, we have 4 subjects for you all in the morning. After lunch, we have 3 more sessions. So that's how it's going to go over. I have the privilege to introduce Madam Rani Ravikumar. Madam Rani Ravikumar is going to be the moderator for the morning sessions. Rani Ravikumar is MA M.Ed in economics. She also holds a diploma in marketing and advertising. Madras University PG teacher and administrator for 20 years in Madras University. Worked as academic officer for accreditation in Alpha Group of institutions, schools and colleges. She is also a campaigner in Chennai Doordarshan. She does campaigning there. And if you go to Birla Planetarium in Chennai, the voice you hear there is her voice. Given voice for documentary films in Birla Planetarium, Chennai. She is a good orator. She is a Premikendram speaker. And more than anything, all 3 of some people know her as one of the versatile singers. So, I hand over the session to you, madam. You can take on from here. And wish you all the best. Thank you.
Very good morning to everyone. Ladies and gentlemen of Srivathsam, I'm pleased to welcome you to this workshop. We appreciate you taking time off your busy schedule to join us here today. I also extend a warm welcome to our guests here, students of Mass College and Bharath University. Well, as introduced, I am Mrs. Rani Ravikumar from Chennai. I am going to be your moderator for today's morning session. Srivathsam proudly welcomes our august speakers of today's workshop. In this session, we would be focusing on social inclusion, a sensational topic indeed. It's a process of improving the terms for individuals and groups to take part in the society, improving the ability, opportunity, and dignity of the people participating in the society. Ladies and gentlemen, as we are about to begin, I request you all to take your seats. Kindly switch off your mobiles or turn it into silent mode to avoid interruptions. We seek your utmost cooperation in completing this session successfully. Let us all put our hands together to welcome our august speakers and superstars of this session. Shall we? Put your hands together to welcome. All of them are knowledgeable and experts on the topic they are going to discuss. Welcome, legends. Here a word of note for the speakers and the audience. Each speaker will have 25 minutes to present their topic and 15 minutes of question and answer session. Audience, we encourage you to take notes during the presentation and trigger your questions or clear your doubts at the end of the session. Without further ado, let us welcome our first speaker of this session. That's none other than Balaji Ratnam. And Srivathsam knows him very well. Yes, you also know about him, Balaji Ratnam. And he is MCom Business Administration, Certificate in Export Marketing, IIFT, New Delhi, Diploma in Journalism from Delhi, NASDQ, Securities License, highlights of the career in SBI, Treasury Manager, SBI Tokyo, 4 years, Regional Manager, Trichy, Zonal Office, twice faculty position in SBI, Dehradun, Gurgaon, Program Director at Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Bangalore, Senior Consultant in BFSI. And today, Sir is going to focus on a very sensational topic indeed. Suggestions and improvement areas in the present system for selection of legislators. It's a debating topic indeed. I hope you will have a lot of questions, opportunities for a lot of questions and to interact with Mr. Ratnam. Mr. Ratnam, the floor is yours. May I welcome him to the dais, please.
Thank you, Mrs. Rani, for introducing me so well. I welcome all the students who have come from Kumbakonam, I think, and also my colleagues here who have made an excellent presentation yesterday. And today again we are looking forward to good presentations. Basically, as you would have seen from my As you could have seen from my profile introduction, basically I am in the field of what they call BFSI, Banking, Finance, Securities and Insurance. But my interests are also otherwise, as some people know here. It's also in bit of literature and general things. That's how I've taken up this topic. When this project came, I volunteered that I will take up this topic because this has been a subject that has been very dear to me. I'll be making the presentation through PowerPoint slides, and if there are any questions, I would say, do we take it immediately or at the end? Okay, you can note down whatever you have, because there might be certain expressions, Latin terms that I use, which I'll try to explain, but you can ask for more questions at the end. As was rightly pointed out, this is a topic which itself starts on a kind of it's a negative statement. The negative statement states suggestions and improvements in the present scenario for improvement in the selection of legislators. So the very statement means there is something that we can improve. There is something probably lacking, and how we put our brains together and find out what are the causes. I will try to list them through the PowerPoint presentation. Okay. Law is made by man and not man for the law. This is, I have quoted, in fact, I'll be quoting quite a few lines. I'll be, also, you will be seeing in the slides, some photos and other things which are copyrighted. I'm making clear, I took it from the web for the purpose of making it interesting. See, law is made by man and not man for the law. The law is not made, the law is made for the man, and man is not made for the law. So it's very important that whatever the laws that have been made in this connection, we have to understand these have been made for our benefit. Whether the law is adequate or not is something that we are going to examine here. This is a famous statement by William Godwin. Basically, I put it in this, put a key symbol to say, I am only taking out the key areas. This is only indicative, not exhaustive. This subject is something where there could be dozens of opinions, there are dozens of agreements and disagreements. Not all what I'm going to be mentioning here as suggestions may be feasible. So that's why I put the key symbol. This is a key area which I felt should be. Oh, my kitty, sorry. Oh, it's not clear. I'll read out. It's not read. Can it be highlighted? Transparency and accountability in selection of candidates. It's very important that the selection committee of each party should see that there is transparency in the selection of candidates. See, what happens is most of the candidates are selected on the basis of regional pressures, local pressures, and that they have served the community, they are well known in the area. There should be transparency. It should not be uncle-nephew relationship. Selection committee should take, can it be clear more? Is it possible to make it more clear? Is it going to selection committee of each party should be men of standing and impeachable integrity. The men who are selecting in the party, whether it be you call it high command or local command or whatever it is, should themselves be of men of standing and impeachable integrity. Now, if I don't want to names here, I will try to avoid as much as possible, though the names easily come to my lips about what is happening, let's say in Rajasthan or in Madhya Pradesh or in Chhattisgarh. I'm not going to go into that. What is happening is, it's very important that men who are selecting, whether it be the central command or the high command, should be men of impeachable integrity. Dynastic consideration, which is the bane of Indian politics. Now, again, I will say that every regional party, excepting the national party, is governed by dynastic consideration. Again, if you look at each of the parties that are there, the splinter parties that have come out of the national party have become splinter parties, and they have become family parties. And we know at the national level how dynasty is, considerations are taken, and the person might be in Uzbekistan or Turkestan or Kazakhstan. He is the one who finally has a say in the election of selection of candidates, and rest are just silent spectators. This is very unfortunate. Now, I have put a next. Clear criteria laid out for minimum educational qualifications. Now, this is the photo of St. Stephen's College in Delhi, one of the prestigious colleges in Delhi, St. Stephen's, which turns out the cream. Many top people have come out of that college, St. Stephen's College. I put this just as a, to say, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone has to be from St. Stephen's or Hindu College or Ramjas College or anything. I'm talking of Delhi because I'm coming from Delhi. See, it is important that what I am emphasizing is that they should be men who have certain minimum educational qualifications. Now, what happens is you find that there are people who are matriculates or undergraduates or not even graduates. They get selected to the legislature or to the parliament. And it's very sad that the lawmaker themselves, if they are illiterate, how they are going to legislate when important legislations is there, how they are going to be passing the bills in the parliament or in the state legislature. More important at the national level, it is very important because center has got a lot of laws in its jurisdiction, then there are the state laws. It's very important. They should be, in fact, what I am proposing is there should be a minimum qualification. There should be minimum, under matriculates are not going to be there to be legislating, telling us what should be the law. In fact, most of the time when these bills come up for discussion in the parliament, they are hardly able to contribute anything. And they just by show of hands allow it to pass. And later on it runs into uh, later on it runs into problem. Now, it's important that there should be a minimum education criteria. That's why I put a college symbol. Now, here again, it's maybe a bit frightening to say, candidates with criminal records should not be given tickets. I mean that candidates with criminal record should not be given tickets. Now, I know there are a lot of subclauses saying that unless a person is convicted for a minimum period of 5 years, he can contest the election. Or they can always say that this case is a false case that has been foisted on me. Maybe part of what they say, maybe a political opposition party may be foisting cases on him so that he does not get to contest the election. This is something I come at a later stage. What should be the election watchdog? What is important is for any government service, even when I was trying to enter the central government undertaking like the State Bank of India, I remember there was a police verification for 5 years. They took a police verification in Delhi for 5 years to see that I don't have any police record. Why can't we introduce that for people who are going to be legislating and who are going to be ministers either at the state or in the center? Why can't we do that as a bare minimum? That there should be mandatory police clearance. There should be a strict legal framework for eliminating those with dubious record. Now, when I'm saying this, that there should be a system, which I am coming to as the later stage of the watchdog, that people with dubious records should not be allowed to contest. That is what I am saying. What I am saying, I mean, I put some photo of a police station in Vijay Vihar, that is in Delhi, but that says that people who have entered a police station should not, who have a record in police station should not be allowed to contest. The winnability factor should not be applied by party selection committee. Now, what happens is in selection of candidates, most often the selection committee, what they do is saying this particular candidate is a local candidate or he is well known. So, let him contest the elections. By being a local man, he might have acquired certain local power, muscle power and other things, and he gets his way. And what happens is the parties want to play safe, and they say, this man, if he's given the ticket, he is going to win, irrespective of the fact whether he is educated, whether he can deliver the goods, what is required of him. That is not, the winnability criteria should not be made. This is something, a kind of a sagacious advice I'm giving. Whether that is feasible is something that we have to debate. Each state should be mandated to have not more than 3 parties, and at the national level, I have not added here, at the national level, there should be not more than 6. There is a fragmentation of political parties. You know what happens in the country is that when somebody does not get a ticket, he immediately forms a party and later on tries to fix himself to another party to which he can make a backdoor entry to the state legislature or to the parliament. Now, this is something we can, by law, I think we have to create a mechanism for that, by which the number of, see in US you have got only 2 Republicans or the Democrats, or you take UK, how many parties are there? 3. Now in Germany You take any developed country, we are a developing country, no doubt, I agree. That doesn't mean we have about 80 parties and other things. I don't know, probably by last count it was more than 80 parties at the national level and at the state level, number of parties. One party which does not, it is a party, but it doesn't have any candidate in the parliament, but it is at the state level. So these kind of fragmentation should be avoided, and we say by law that there should be this many parties for the state, out of which 3 for the state and 6 for the parliament. There should not be any number more than this number. This is what it's a very radical measure I'm suggesting. Let us see how far it is implementable. That's why I put a photo of legislature. Yes, this is a very important provision, strict provision to control role of money and electoral politics. Well, it's, I don't want to go into detail. We know that money plays a very, very, very important part in electoral politics. We don't know where the money comes. We know where the money comes, but not any action is taken. Now, yesterday I was reading a judgment of the Supreme Court, wherein the judgment of Chief Justice and 2 other judges have said there is opacity in the system of electoral bonds. After the present government came into power, they said that we will have electoral bonds. Now the thing about electoral bonds is we don't know who is purchasing. We don't know who is taking it. So no political party, because it wants to be a beneficiary of the electoral bonds, just gets the money into its coffers. This is something unfair, very unfair. I remember one former chairman of SEBI said that we all start with a disadvantage because the parties that are in power, they pass laws which stand to benefit them. And in fact, each of these legislators, whether it be at the state level or at the central level, are given what is called local area development fund. Now, isn't this some kind of a bribery? I mean, 6 crores for an MP, I think 5 or 6 crores for an MP, and 3 crores for an MLA. Now, this is given out of state coffers. They are supposed to be spending it for for development purpose in that particular constituency. What happens? You go to Chennai, you will find that they have put bus shelters. Is that the purpose for which it was meant? Bus shelters, say so and so, build this under the local area development fund. Now, the parties in power have this advantage, which a common man like you and me try to go. We don't have any resources to fight with. The other way is go to the Rajya Sabha. That is a backdoor entry on which I'm not commenting much. Yes. Central and state governments should consider funding candidate out of specific fund. Now, this is a very debatable, what I have suggested is debatable. How far can a country like India, which has got limited resources, or can set apart, how much should it set apart for so many fragmented parties, whether they are national or at the state level, and what should the independents get? Now, this is something, it has to be worked out, that an independent candidate or people who otherwise do not possess the money power, how do they get to enter the state legislature or the parliament? There should be funding of elections. Otherwise, what happens is, you find during the election time, money is going in vans and helping the parties. Now, money, we can find that reports about so many crores were caught in a particular this thing, so many hundreds of crores were caught in a van and other things. Where do this money come? How do this money come? These are all black money that is coming into the back door to the politicians. Now, if the state and the center have this system of funding out of specific fund, even ordinary candidates can have, people who don't have the money power can also aspire to become a legislator or a member of parliament. Yes. This is again the bane of Indian politics. What is happening is religious caste and religious appeals are made. Ye Yadav hai, ye Kumir hai, ye wo hai, ye wo hai, wo hai. I'm sorry, I'm breaking off into Hindi, but you will find wo Reddy faction ka hai, is faction ka hai, us faction ka hai. So again, caste and religious considerations are taken. Or you will find that in an area predominantly by non-Hindus, try to put a non-Hindu face, because that way you feel that you will get you will find this more often in Kerala especially, or in UP. Now, caste religious appeals should be strictly banned. How do we do it? This is again an area which has to be watched in a later slide. I'm talking about Ethics and Watchdog Committee. Now, I put a dog's face just to say there should be a watchdog, and the other is the judicial hammer. Now, only election commission would not be enough to use to control the money power. Bribing of voters should be, can be stopped by watchdog at district level, headed by a retired senior judge with judicial powers. Which will take on the spot action and money inducement given to the voters, booth capturing, etc. Well, once during 1976, I was in Haryana, branch manager of a district, State Bank branch manager of a district. So I was appointed as chief electoral officer of the district. For one day I had judicial powers. I was given judicial powers to say that you can take whatever action you feel to see that the election is conducted fairly. Well, it was very happy to note that. But it's a very big district I was handling. What I could do was take a jeep, go around and to see that, that people are not offered biryani and liquor sachets and other things, just as it is right now happening. Liquor sachet and a biryani just before you enter the electoral booth is given to you, and you are told, given a slip made by the candidates, they have their own stall and they give it to you, isko vote karna, usko vote karna hai. So this is something, there should be last minute appeals by giving liquor sachet, not liquor bottle, liquor sachet and biryani. वो पूछते हैं आपको lemon rice चाहिए या biryani चाहिए. So this is happening at election booths. Whether we like to accept it or not, it is still happening. Now, what are the remedial powers? What are the remedial action that we should take? Increasing public participation in the legislative process can be achieved through town hall meetings. Now, basically, as you can see, this is the picture of Bangalore town hall. I've taken it. Basically, when I am saying town hall, it's an American concept. I agree that it's an American concept where town hall meetings are regularly held when elections are held and candidates are fighting. Now, in these town hall meetings, the local citizens of that are invited to the town hall meeting, and they are asked to discuss the merits and demerits of the people who are trying to enter the state legislature. I have seen this myself in US town hall meetings, many town hall meetings. In fact, my own son-in-law, who is an American citizen, has conducts town hall meetings where they discuss about the merits of that candidate and to the public. No putting up flags, banners, and painting the walls of temples and other things. Nothing of that was done. They keep the city clean. So increasing participation is through town hall meetings. This is again, it can be considered. Right to recall. Yeah, I mean, I use the word non-performing. Basically, it looks like a non-performing asset. They are assets in the sense that once you have elected them to the parliament or to the legislature, they become permanent fixtures for 5 years. They don't want to come out because they've got so many benefits and other things, and they are well paid, and they can increase their salary anytime they want. Now, in law, in fact, in California, there is a law, what is called right to recall. Right to recall legislators who are not performing. Now, there are many legislators we know who are not performing. We know. Now, there is something called writ of quo warranto, QUO warranto. Now, the writ of quo warranto, it is available in the Indian Constitution. I don't remember the exact article. It is, in fact, as recently as 2 weeks back, writ of quo warranto was issued to Edappadi Ramaswamy, what is his name, the former chief minister, Edappadi. Now, it was issued to him saying that how was he holding office? I mean, pretty late, he is no more in power, but how was he holding office when he had committed certain offenses? So he should be recalled. The Madras High Court dismissed it, that's a different thing. There is a provision for issue of quo warranto. Quo warranto means issue a writ for recalling. Now, going on a lighter note, I would like to mention there are so many non-performing legislatures, non-performing MPs. I'll strictly confine myself to MPs. You take the case of people who have been nominated to Rajya Sabha. I mean, though Rajya Sabha is not my subject because Rajya Sabha is indirect entry. Rajya Sabha, we nominated Sachin Tendulkar. I would like to know, anybody can give me statistics as how many meetings he has attended the parliament. They come to the parliament, sign on the register, collect their 2,000 rupees, gone. Or they don't bother to come because they don't need that kind of money. 2,000 per day for attending the parliament session is nothing great for them. So, what is there? Now, another case. We had a case of Hema Malini, we very well know. She represents Mathura constituency. She is also quietly absenting herself. And Rekha. There are so many actresses who have been, who have become members of Lok Sabha. They don't attend. Now, there was an instance of Dharmendra. I can mention name, there's nothing new about it. Dharmendra got himself elected from a particular constituency in Rajasthan. Now, he was, the 5 year is this period Lok Sabha election, Lok Sabha. So, he never went for the first 3 years. Now, the local, at the instigation of somebody with legal knowledge, they put up a poster saying that they are asking for a habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is a writ that is issued for producing somebody. Now, right to recall. Right to recall, they said that habeas corpus, let us ask for him to come because he was not appearing in their constituency at all. Now, these are cases that are there. It's nothing new. Now, I'm just tempted to quote from Mahatma Gandhi. allow prominent citizens to submit testimony in case to increase public participation. Again, though I am saying it, how many prominent citizens would dare to give testimony for against a particular candidate? Would he not fear for his life? But they should come forward. Now I come to the point that I 2 minutes, 2 slides. Establish an independent ethics watchdog committee to monitor legislative activities. This is something we can start. The Parliament can establish what is called ethics watchdog committee. That's why, have I not? The ethics watchdog committee, which can monitor the activities of the what is happening in the election scenario. I think that's about all, because I think, but there is one more slide which is slightly, but you would rather that I don't present it. Okay. Okay. There was a very subtle comment made by R.K. Lakshman, which I'll try to present it, where he is very, very open about what is happening in the present system. So that they say that your time is up. Thank you very much for the time that you have given to me. And I know some of the suggestions I have made are radical, and please, you can question me when there is this question answer session. Thank you. Thanks a lot for patience.
Thank you, Mr. Balaji Ratnam. Law is made for man and not man made for law. You started with this quote, and throughout you focused on this. It was an interesting topic. I hope you all have enjoyed it. And if the party leaders could make a note of it, at least when these papers are presented, it will be of very useful to us, in fact. And it's an eye-opener for all of us to use our franchise, voting in the right manner. So thank you once again, sir. Let us now welcome Mrs. Jaya Ranganathan, who would be sharing her views on themes and issues in geriatric psychology, psychotherapy, and developing resiliences. Welcome, ma'am. This is going to be a very interesting topic for all of us. I welcome ma'am on the dais. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, let me introduce her to you. Mrs. Jaya Ranganathan. She is a history graduate, experienced in corporate HR for 19 years. Started a HR consultancy in 1997 and catered to the middle and senior level requirements of automobile giants across the length and breadth of the country. Interacted with professionals from different walks of life. That's interesting. Certified life coach. All of us do need that. Was a member of Madras Management Association for 2 decades. Relationship coach. This is the need of today's hour. Positive psychology practitioner. Into counseling and life coaching since 2013. Addressed thousands of students. My dear students, keep it in mind. Address thousands of students and parents on life coaching and counseling. She is a YouTuber, columnist in weekly newspaper in Chennai. Her theme is Themes and Issues in Geriatric Psychotherapy and Developing Resilience. It's really going to be an interesting topic. Please do watch and reserve your questions. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Madam Rani. Good morning to everybody. First of all, I thank Mr. Sitaraman and the management of Srivathsam for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be here and to be a part of a glorious Bharath workshop. It's really an amazing opportunity for me. Mental health. Today, it is more than $2 billion industry all over the world. Every alternate person has got some mental health issue. For some people, it is quite obvious, but some people, they are managing with not showing it out. But today's topic is geriatric psychotherapy and how to develop the resilience. Here, the people may ask, the 1950s and 60s kids who were brought up in a more calm atmosphere without any distraction, especially any digital distraction, where is the question of psychotherapy and some treatment for all those things are coming? Of course, they have been brought up in that situation, but with the development of technology and the more, that is, the increasing life expectancies, that leads to anxiety, depression, and then stress. Here, we are going to see what are all the things and how we are going to come out of that with a resilient mindset. Fine. How to treat this geriatric psychotherapy? Like any other physical treatment, this will also be the same. For example, the children and the senior people will be treated in a slightly light manner when compared to a normal adult. When you take the mental health problem, the most important problem is OCD, what is called obsessive compulsive disorder, doing the same thing again and again. Here, of course, the conversation will be completely in English. In some places, to come closer to you in this field, I may use some Tamil words. Obsessive compulsive disorder, a small example I can give you. When you become old, see, normally it is in everybody's mind, but when you become old, you will have that feeling when you lock the house and come out. After coming to the end of the house, you will go back and see whether you have locked it properly. When you switch off the gas, have you switched it off? Have you switched off the lights? This is all called obsessive compulsive disorder. To one extent, this may go to the level of whether I have taken the bath in the morning or I have to take the bath again in the evening. It goes to that level with the level of anxiety and depression. So, treating this thing is like any other physical treatment. So, this will differ from people to people depending upon their health condition, mental health condition. Normally, these things will be, initially this will be treated with counseling and life coaching and other things. But when this cannot be controlled and the level of dopamine is slightly decreasing and their stress level is increasing in mind, then we will recommend to the doctors for psychiatrists for some medical help. The next slide. Okay. Challenges. Challenges faced by the seniors. Physical. Fine. No, this is not the one. Yeah. Physical. Physical is, the first one is menopause and andropause. This, even though this starts at the age of late 40s, in 50-52, this menopause and andropause, it takes a toll in the life of everyone. Really, their life, body composition is getting changed and they have got a lot of hot flushes and all these things are happening from the age of 52. When you slowly coming near to the age of 60 and this body composition. This thing is physical composition is changing. The next one is gray hair. Oh, gray hair is such a big problem. You people, you students may ask. But when you see one gray hair, you will automatically get a feeling, psychological feeling, oh, am I becoming old? That will come. Initially, we will start removing one after another. Afterwards, like me, people will try dye and other things. But at one stage, we have to accept that we are becoming old. Again, that is the thing. The third one is falling of tooth. See, today for everything there is a solution is there. But falling of tooth, that gives a feeling that yes, the front pallu munnadi pallu vundirthuna, oh, I am becoming old. Pallu pona sollu poidta appadindra oru feel. You are getting a feeling like that. The next one is overweight. When the stage of andropause and menopause comes, the thyroid changes are happening. That leads to overweight and that lowers your self-confidence. Again, walking issue, arthritis. This is a major issue for everyone, including myself. Okay, so with this arthritis, this limits our walking, going out, meeting people, even going to the nearby temple. So all these things, the physical loss. Then chronic health conditions like diabetes and other things. Then sensory loss, that is hearing impaired, eyesight, all these things. These are all the physical losses. Mental loss. When it comes to mental loss, that is fixed income, increasing medical expenses, and also the change in the social position. All these things. Okay. Now the next slide. Okay. Feeling of loss of status and position. People from South India, of course from the whole of India, people would not have forgotten Shivaji Ganesan and the prestige Padmanabha Iyer of Vietnam Vid. He was a terror when he was in his employment. Once he retired from service, how the treatment changed at home. So, slowly, all his powers have gone from his hand, and that led to his health conditions and other things. So, loss of status and position. The next one is loss of close contacts. As long as you are in a job, see, if you take a person of 60 years old today, okay, he must have started his career at the age of, say, 25. Last 35 years, if he continued in the same employment of state government or bank, today's youth's mindset is changing the job once in 3 years. But it was not the case with the people who joined a government service or a bank service some 30 years back. They developed a sort of friendship in the office. It is an entirely a different world for them. There they shared all their suga dukkangala ellam parimarikolra or edamada. They considered it as a place, another home for them, with a close contact with the friends. So once they retire from that office, that close contact, nothing, no technology can replace that close friendship. That is a loss of close thing. Then loss of close family members. So you retire from your service, you lose your contact with your friends. At that time, if you have to see a death of your sibling or your age-old parents or your better half, you might have considered the better half so far a bitter half. But once that better half is deleted from your life, that is the biggest loss for you. You would not have considered it as a loss so far because you would not have considered the presence of that spouse, that better half. But once he or she is deleted from your life, that is a very big loss. Loss of independence. One lady from Peru, she is a 71-year-old lady. She is saying that, oh, now that I am 71, that does not matter that to which marriage I should attend and to which funeral I should not go. These things should not be decided by my next generation at home. I don't have the power to give my views and ideas in the family discussions. And my ideas have no place there. Okay, in life coaching, we take the life into 4 different categories: existing, living, loving, and joyful. According to that Peru lady, she is just existing. She is saying that I don't want to exist. I don't want lead this sort of a life. I don't want to continue my life. But is this the end of everything? Is this the end of everything? No. No, says Ruth Verberay. She has written a book, Life Begins at 60. In that book, she has written that all my responsibilities are over. So far, I have worked for my family. I have worked for everyone in the world. Now, I am going to live my life. This is going to be my life, and I want to enjoy my life to the maximum extent possible. So, there comes resilience. How to develop this resilience? Assessment scale. When you take the resilience, you were thinking about your loss. What is that? Oh, sorry, previous loss. Okay, loss of independence. Then I have to talk about the sensory loss in the previous. Okay, sensory loss. That is hearing impaired. Again, eyesight. Even after a cataract surgery, eyesight. Then the restricted movement due to arthritis. And again, after that, dementia. When you are becoming old, we try to remember our childhood days very well. All these things we remember very well, but we conveniently or whether conveniently or by a mistake, we forget the instructions given by the son and daughter-in-law in the morning to finish by the evening before they return from office. So, that is dementia, one of the sensory loss. All these losses, feeling of status and position, and the feeling of close contacts, feeling of loss of independence, loss of close contacts, loss of sensory loss, all this leads to a loss of self-esteem. Why should I live? I don't want to exist. There comes Ruta Verberay saying that life starts at 60, life begins at 60. She has written a book. How this life can be changed, how the resilience can occur, how to develop this resilience. First is the assessment scale. So, you were all along thinking about yesterday, what happened yesterday. We always used to say in the life course that yesterday is not tomorrow. If you think that what happened yesterday only will happen tomorrow, you cannot live your life today. You have to think about today. What I can do to my best today so that it will take care of your tomorrow. So try to do your best today. That is what we used to say in our life coaching. So when it comes to the assessment scale, say, what is my loss? Why this loss has happened? How I can come out of this loss? These are the what, why, and how. These 3 things should be in your mind always. Miss Miriam Teresa from Florida, she had all 4 losses at the same time. She lost her husband due to some accident, and she had to take care of her mother, age-old mother with Alzheimer's. Because of these 2 things, because she was taking care of her mother and her husband's death and all, she lost her job. She could not repay the house EMI or something. The house also went out of her hand. So, all the 4 losses have happened to her at the same time, but she came out of that with the Greek philosopher saying, life is flux. So if you have that flexibility and adaptability in mind, that things will change. Yeah, I can think differently and I can come out of this. That is the resilience. What are the behavioral indicators of resilience? Mobility. Once in every 20 minutes, you should make it a practice to get out of your chair and walk. If you sit continuously for 4 mega serials, then someone has to come and give you hand. Once in a day, at least once you feel that your lift is not working and I have to climb at least 2 floors up and down. So that will make your mobility more. Presence of pets. Walking the dog. Pets. Here more people like pets, I know very well. Cats, dogs and other things. Definitely that gives a sort of thing. Then gardening. Terrace garden. These are all the parts of the behavioral indicators. Okay. Behavioral mobility is the first one. Next one is the presence of pets. Then the third one is gardening. Fourth one is the cognitive functioning. Check your memory level. Write your achievements of your school days and college days in a notebook. Write your strength. Write your strength. And if you want to achieve anything in the next 3 months, start a SMART goal. And you can assess the thing, your improvement once in 10 days. The next one is the building blocks. Aerobic exercise. It has been proved years together that those who are doing the exercise at least once in twice or thrice in a week, they have less stress and anxiety. Willingness to ask for help and help others. When you are in a problem, you should have the mindset to ask for help. If you, no, I don't want anybody's help, the things will worsen and somebody has to arrange for an ambulance and to take you. So when things are with little problem, try to ask for help and at the same time, try to help others. Recently, I got a call from a friend from Mumbai. She is 63 years old. She said that that is a visually challenged girl, she is reading geography and Tamil every morning between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the Chennai. For a Chennai 10th standard student, visually challenged student, from Mumbai she is through online, she is reading the Tamil and geography lessons. So, you can help others. Then you can be a mentor to someone. See, your life experience, you are the age of 60 or 65, your life experiences, your ups and downs, that can definitely be helpful to the youth of today. Okay, because there you are. Pardon? Yeah, that is, you can explain that. The next one is, okay, building blocks is over. Okay. Then the next one is bucket list. In the building blocks, bucket list. How many of you know here about the bucket list? Oh, thank you. Thank you, sir. So far we didn't have the opportunity. We might not have the opportunity to do so many things in our life. How can we do that in social, in personal, as well as so many things? We have, let me see. We have a movie called Bucket List in English. In the same manner, a Tamil movie was taken. Kedi Engira Karuppadurai. A senior person from his house, he escaped to somewhat from, and he met a small boy. Okay, yes. And that boy, he will ask for the bucket list. What is it? Okay, sir. No, இல்லை தான் பண்ணிடுங்க. ஓகே. சவுண்டா? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. Light off on பண்ணுங்க திருப்பி. No sound up. Okay, fine. Fine, okay. Okay, fine. And then just 2 minutes, ma'am. Yeah. So the next light photo. The next one is emotional health. You stop your inner critic. Always having an inner critic saying that this will not work out for you, that will not work out for you. Stop that inner critic. And don't always have a feeling what others will think about me. You think think about your worth. Don't always have a feeling that how and what others will think about me. Develop empathy towards others. This is the most important point. Especially develop empathy towards your children. Yeah, that is, developing empathy towards your children is very important. Don't always complain that my son is not taking care of me. How much you have taken care of him or her during their college days, how much you listened to their passion, and you just introduced your passion, your ideas and your views to them. And now try to understand their problems from their shoes, and don't complain at your old age that my children are not taking care of me. Stop complaining. The last one is acceptance. Whatever said and done, the old age has come, accept it. So the first one is acceptance is resistance. The mind says no. The second one is resignation. Will say resistance with resistance, it will come of death. Acceptance, it is accepting. And the last one is embracing. It is embracing the change. You are going to see a 1-minute video by actor Hemsworth. It is from the National Geographic document Limitless. And the last chapter is he is accepting. He's a 37-year-old guy. He is acting like an 87-year-old person. He is going to the old age home and live with other people. He sees himself as an 87-year-old person, and there, just 1 minute, with that I finishes it. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I am ready to welcome the questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It's over. It will go over 1 minute. So.
Mr. T.K.V. Rajan, Founder Director of Indian Science Monitor. Indian Science Monitor.
This you say that. You introduce them. You tell them. Just you can tell him. I'll finish this and you can tell him. Well, thank you, Mrs. J.R. Ranganathan. Your speech was lively and interesting too. I would say close to our hearts. You have felt the pulse of almost all of us here. Rajini style சொல்லணும்னா நடக்கிறது தான் அவங்க சொன்னாங்க, அவங்க சொன்னது தான் நடக்குது. And it is like all of us coming here and representing, and your topic was really interesting. And one more thing, you have covered and you have given justification for the title of our workshop here, Glorious Bharath, Prospects and Solutions. Prospects and Solutions, both you have covered. A big round of applause for Mrs. Jaya Ranganathan. And now over to Dr. Vijay Kumar. I'm sorry, Jaya Rangarajan.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. We request Mr. T.K.V. Rajan to take a minute to introduce. He has an excellent exhibition around this. He will be just talking about it.
I'm an archaeologist. தொல்லியல் ஆய்வாளர். Glorious Bharath அப்படிங்கிறபோது காஷ்மீர் வந்து நம்மளுடைய நாட்டினுடைய பார்ட். கிபி 2ஆவது நூற்றாண்டிலிருந்து 11ஆம் நூற்றாண்டு வரை பாரதத்தை ஒன்றாக இணைத்தது காஷ்மீர் அப்படி என்பது தொல்லியல் பார்வையில் பார்த்துருக்கோம். நீங்கள் மெயினாக ஜீரோ முதல்ல கண்டுபிடிச்சது காஷ்மீரில் தான். ஓகேங்களா? அதே மாதிரி ஆதிச்சநல்லூர் திருநெல்வேலியிலிருந்து காஷ்மீருக்கு போய் அங்கே வந்து சர்ஜரி பண்ணினது எல்லாமே இதில் இருக்குது. ஸோ காஷ்மீர் நமது நாட்டின் மகுடம் அப்படிங்கிறது நம்ம நாட்டை ஒன்றாக இணைத்த ஒரு பகுதி. அது வந்து 3வது உலக போர்னு வந்ததுன்னா அது காஷ்மீர்லேருந்து ஆரம்பிக்கலாம்ங்கிற எச்சம் இருக்கிற போது காஷ்மீரை பற்றி நம்ம எல்லாம் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காக சின்ன கண்காட்சி. இதுக்கு அனுமதி கொடுத்த சீதாராமனுக்கு நன்றி. whenever you time ப்ளீஸ் go through it. நீங்கள் படிச்சு நல்லா எல்லாமே தமிழில் இருக்குது, நல்லாவே எனக்கு படிங்க. தேங்க்யூ வெரி மச். ரைட்.
Thank you, sir. Though now it is tea break, we are not literally breaking for the tea. Yeah, tea will be served here. Let us now help Mr. Swaminathan to share his thoughts. Let me introduce him to you. Mr. Swaminathan is a biomedical engineer by profession. He was dealing in life-saving medical devices for the treatment of heart diseases during most part of his career life. Based in India, he was the director of cardiac surgery business for the leading medical devices company, Medtronic Inc. USA. He had significantly contributed to the introduction and growth of modern medical technology in India in the field of cardiology and cardiac surgery, such as heart pacemaker and beating heart surgery. Wow, that's great. He is a photographer by passion and has extensively traveled across India and outside for nature, landscape, architecture, people and wildlife photography. Many of his photographs are accepted in national and international photo salons. An applause, please. Received awards and were published in Indian temple history books and Indian photography magazines. He conducts workshops and training programs in photography for students and photo enthusiasts. During year 2017-19, he was the president of Photographic Society of Madras, the oldest and prestigious in India and one of the oldest photography clubs in the world. It's fortunate to have him here. And his presentation would be focusing on ecological research through wildlife photography. And I'm sure we are going to have some interesting slides over here. And let me welcome, without much delay, Mr. Swaminathan to give his presentation. Please, sir.
இது பாயிண்டர் மாத்திரம். இது நான் பார்த்து கையால் படிக்கிறேன். பாயிண்டர் மாத்திரம். பாயிண்டர். யா சூப்பர். இதுவா
இல்லை இது வச்சு ஈஸி.
இது ஆஃப் பண்ணிட்டோமா?
அது ஃபேஸ் நல்லா வரும் இதில் வீடியோ.
ஓகே
வேண்டாம்னா ஆஃப் பண்ணலாம். எடுத்துருவா.
ஆமாம் பார்ட் ஆஃப் தட். எப்படி இது வர மாட்டேங்குது? ஓகே Okay. Good morning. Welcome you all to this unique session we have been having since yesterday at Srivathsam by some of our members, and very interesting topics been going through. And I see a lot of newcomers today in Srivathsam. Usually we will have our own members, but today we have a lot of guests from nearby colleges. Welcome you all. So today I'm going to talk about ecological research through wildlife photography. As a wildlife photographer, I'll be sharing my experience in dealing with ecological systems. Ecological system is consisting of living things and non-living things enclosed in an environment. Environment is a very important factor, particular area which talks about a particular area or a habitat. So it consists of living things and non-living things enclosed in its habitat. What are those living things and non-living things? Examples of living things are plants, fungus. Examples of living things are plants such as fungus, grass, bush and trees. Animals such as birds, fish and mammals. I'll show you some of the examples. These are the fungus, plural is fungi, and thick forest consisting of bush, trees and plants. These are some of the insects and wildlife, wildflowers. And this is a picture showing a group of flamingos in its own environment, in its habitat. We call it a habitat. So this is shot in Pulicat Lake in Chennai, in Tamil Nadu, Andhra border. This is a pelican family in its own habitat on top of the bushy tree. Family of elephants in African savanna. And non-living things are water, soil, rock, inclusive of weather. Examples of rocks and water. Example of rocks and water. Nutrition. Nutrition or food cycle, it's an important relationship within an ecosystem is a food cycle. So we have to understand the food cycle, which is a basically formed part of nutrition. And these are living things are divided. We talked about living things. living things are divided into 4 major groups, which are producers, consumers, scavengers, and decomposers in that order. We will see what are those. What is the importance of those? Producers are plants or the leaves, because they are called producers because they produce their own food. Tree produces their own food, as we all have studied, chlorophyll. And consumers are insects, birds, and animals. Some of those, not all of them, some of those insects, birds, and animals which cannot produce their own food, but they eat other living things. Here you see a worm eating a part of the leaf. Here you see a caterpillar eating the flower. They are also called primary consumers or classified as herbivorous. Some of the animals which eat plants, which are also called herbivorous because they cannot produce their own food, they eat plants. The next one is the secondary consumers, which are called carnivorous. Here, the lion standing proudly on its kill, freshly made kill, which is an antelope called wildebeest. Now, the lion which consumes other animals. So it is classified as carnivorous. The other animal here is a plant-eating animal, which is a herbivorous. Here, the carnivorous has finished eating the herbivorous. Next comes the scavengers. Next comes the scavengers, animals that eat the dead bodies of other animals are called scavengers. Here you see the hyena taking away part of the dead body of another animal. Vultures are also part of scavengers. They come in big group, finish all the remains of the dead animal. Finally, decomposers are microorganisms or fungi which decompose the remains of all living things, both of animals as well as plants. They decompose them into minerals which return to the soil as to keep it fertile. So we have to understand the food chains, importance of food chains. This shows the species in ecosystem are connected to one another by the relationship of food chain. They start from producers and end up as decomposers. What happens when the food chain gets disturbed or gets cut off? I'm going to show you 2 cases in which I was personally involved. I took a photograph of myself for the scene. Case 1, you see a full-grown adult tiger. Full-grown adult tiger. It's all set. Can you see that? It's all set to bounce on a target, on its target, a prey, which was at that time a bison or a gaur. We call Indian bison or a gaur. This was shot in the forest of Bandhavgarh in Madhya Pradesh. It is all set to bounce. It fixed a target. It's about to attack. Its meal is ready. Now what happens? Let me hold on for a few seconds. Case 2. Here, the huge buffalo, which came to drink some water in the small pool of water, unfortunately got surrounded by these huge lions. What happens now? I was ready with my camera settings, expecting a National Geography scenario. All my camera settings are ready. I was so excited to shoot something. Now what happens? Let's see. This is what happens. You see, can you see what happens? Aggressive photographers coming in large jeeps, vehicles, surrounding the pathway of the tiger. So tiger's attacking pathway got cut off, and the bison under attack escaped quietly behind the shadows of the vehicle. and this tiger, unfortunately, is coming out very disappointed. It's lost its prey. The next one, same thing happened. It doesn't matter. It happens only in India. It happens all over the world. Humans are same. So this is what happens in the other country, Africa. Same thing. Aggressive photographers coming in large vehicles, surrounding the water pool, come so close to the line. They got disturbed. They got disappointed. Walk away. So what happens now? What should be my feeling? Should I be happy that I saved those buffaloes or bison? They escaped unhurt? Or should I be disappointed that I lost a good opportunity of National Geography scene? So that's a big question. But anyway, we as a human being are disturbing the ecosystem. This is a classic example of disturbing the ecosystem. Their food chain, food cycle got completely disturbed. Okay, these animals are on the forest cover. The forests are mainly their place of residence or habitat. They are classified into these 5 areas depending upon the density of the plants. These animals are also protected under these forest covers. They are divided into national parks and sanctuaries nowadays. Many of them are protected under many schemes. Every endangered animal is protected under some particular scheme. But I'm going to give only one sample, which is a tiger, which is our national animal. So which was the tiger, which was in the year 2006, it was as low as 1,400 in numbers, almost losing its majority. Now, due to the various laws, various wildlife protection acts, the numbers now crossed over 3,000 recently. At this point of time, we must accept the contribution. We must recognize the contribution made by Kodak. Who is Kodak? What is Kodak? Kodak is a company which is a pioneer which manufactured photographic equipment like camera, films, photographic printing papers, processors. They have made through their products, lot of documentations were done, lot of photographs were taken, lot of them are documented throughout the world. They were the pioneers, they were the first one to come up with that. All those documents contributed to the status of these animals and their habitat. So many of those documents show the condition of these animals in their habitat, whether they are happy, they are living happily, their food cycle is not disconnected, whether they are not, the numbers are not reducing, whether the human interference are there or not. We got all the facts, and then government got into many acts, Endangered Species Act and or Wildlife. It's called Wildlife Prevention Act in India. Endangered Species Act across the world. We call it as a Wildlife Prevention Act 1972 because that was the year it was first enacted. Mr. William McKibben, that is a statement made by him. Without Kodak, there will be no Endangered Species Act across the world. Mr. William McKibben was the first one to voice the global warming. A little bit of history, but post-independence only. The Wildlife Protection Act emerged in 1972. It was successful in protecting many endangered species. Without that act, these species would not have survived. Recognition of wildlife sanctuaries and national parks started in 1974. Commercial forestry and all huntings were banned. However, it was not easy. Each one, many of the officers, many of the government officials, many of the forest officers have to fight against the powerful hunting lobby. It was so powerful. to come up with these, force the government to come up with these protection acts. Government stayed strong, luckily, on this course and compensated states which followed wildlife protection laws. Funds are not a pressing issue, but the money spent at the right place at the right time was the issue. We need a bigger vision now in increasing these protected areas to safeguard wildlife. We have seen the benefits to ourselves right in front of our eyes. Recently, in the last 10 years, we can see the last few rhinos of Kaziranga. Rhinos na Kandamirgam. Rhinos, of the last few rhinos, we were able to protect them. Otherwise, entire species would have lost because of the Wildlife Prevention Act. Lions are benefited in the Gir forest. Tigers, I will show you, the numbers are growing. Elephants are benefited. Not only these animals, but their habitat, their forest cover also are getting protected. This is just a statistical information. We have, under the forest cover, 7,13,000 square kilometer area, which is of 21.72% of the total land area of Indian geography. Biodiversity loss is another important topic, important statement we have to be aware of, conscious of. It refers to variety, abundance, composition, distribution, interaction of life on Earth at the species and ecosystem level. The loss often seems to be overlooked in favor of other ecological threats because of perceived urgency, which we cannot blame. Government always takes up whatever comes up in their mind as they perceive as an urgency. They will come up with that. But it's always biodiversity comes to the bottom of the table. It's also related to increasing disconnect. This word disconnect is very important. It's also because of the increasing disconnect between people and nature, it leads to biodiversity loss. People are spending less time outdoors, more time indoor, watching serials in TV, right? Jaya, as you said, which leads to an extinction of experience. That's the important statement. These kind of less time you spend outdoors, extinction of experience getting less and less. To protect biodiversity, more people need to become engaged with nature. So, what do we do? How can this engagement be brought in? To improve engagement with biodiversity, one must increase people's emotional attachment with nature and wildlife. Emotional attachment is very, very important. When you go out to forest, when you go out, even to go out to zoo, see some animals, see some park, national park, you have to be emotionally attached. I have always had the feeling as a wildlife photographer, I felt all the time emotionally attached to something. I'm shooting, I'm seeing something. So if you are not emotionally attached, then there comes the disconnect with the nature. Nature is a broad concept. To bring in nature to oneself, it's slightly difficult. So people advocate, bring in wild animals, bring in animals. People are certainly interested in animals. So when you bring in animals can serve as individual representatives of nature to induce interest. Encounter with wildlife often provides strong emotional experience, imparting joy, awe, curiosity. Scientific knowledge is very important on biology and natural history at the educational level, at the school, college level, help improve understanding of biodiversity. One way to achieve this is through what I have to, as a wildlife photographer, I will keep on touching this topic. One way to achieve this is through photographing wildlife. Photography has become extremely popular activity now because of various small, easy to use digital cameras, smartphones. Everyone has a camera now. I don't have to carry a huge digital DSLR to shoot something. Everyone in this room has a camera. smartphone, photo, and then photo sharing platforms, which also helps to share whatever you have shot instantly. There are many online image sharing services used by many across the world. Photography-specific platforms are available, which are Flickr and Instagrams, on top of the regular ones, which are Facebook and Twitter, which are you're all used to. Act of photographing something is shown to increase the engagement with the subject. The subject can be nature. We are talking our subject now. What I'm talking is nature and wildlife. Wildlife photography could be made effective in increasing engagement if people can form strong emotional connection with animals. Wildlife tourism is another one. Engaging wildlife photographers may impart educational and conservation messages, protecting animals from their habitat. A photograph can serve as a trophy for completing the experience. It's a great document. It's not only, it's going to be over years, it's going to be there on record over the years. It can be used as a storytelling tools. Such images can be used for describing experience to people who are not, if you are not on the scene, if I am on the scene, I showed you some pictures, you were not on the scene, but I can bring you in to the scene by showing the pictures. Photography increases narrative communication with one social circles and increasingly with strangers. They may not be photographers, but there may be strangers to photography, but through your pictures, images, you can bring them in to the scene. The phenomenon can impart knowledge on casual photographers as well, and tourists. Wildlife photography opportunities can increase amount of visitors and resources. The money gained through this can be directed towards conservation efforts. Ultimately, it goes to save the nature and the biological system, ecological system. Some of the pictures I'm going to share with you, which are the results of impact of emotional attachment. These are some of the images I shot. This is a baby langur in Bandhavgarh forest. The aggressive lion. This is a juvenile little baby lion. This is a mother and a mom and baby. You can see the communication. You can see the communication. You can feel the communication when you are there. But you have to be engaged. You should be attached. You should be connected to that. This is a very aggressive animal. This is called a hyena. Yeah, this is a hyena, very aggressive animal. But look at it when it comes to its baby. How mother-baby relationship. This is again hyena, and very rarely you can see these two together. They will kill each other on seeing the first moment, but they are very close looking at each other because they had a common friend which cheated both of them at the same time. Common friend which cheated both of them, snatched away their food, so they are looking at each other. They are now trying to be friendly. And this kind of emotional attachment with the elephants, this is kind of communication. These are simple birds, pelicans, but you can listen to their communication. You can the way when you are closely attached to that. So wildlife photography, there can be this important thing. There can be drawbacks in attracting large number of interested visitors to natural areas. I've shown you a classic example earlier when they come in aggressive photographers coming in the jeeps. If the photographers and the wildlife tourists are uninformed, they can be more harmful than helpful. Recent trends and technological advances in recent trends have had side effects leading to practices harmful to wildlife. What are those? Wildlife selfies. You have seen every day it comes in paper. People go to Mudumalai forest taking wildlife selfies close to the elephant, and they get knocked down. So many people get killed because of those. And geotagging is now, recently it has started now. So you take a picture of something, even though it's somewhere far away, and then geotag. Where the location, everything comes up there. And these things, some of the unwanted enemies, unwanted people, that there are poachers, for example, they can easily locate those places and do some harmful to the local animals. These problems can be avoided if the informed, educated photographers and tourists are advised to forego proximity. Never go close to each animal has its own safety circle. They are called safety. It can be 10 meters, it can be 100 meters, depending upon the animal. So they all know when they see you, they know you are coming, you are coming, you are coming. But when you approach, when you interfere, when you enter the safety zone, you overstep into that, they know they will take two steps, either to attack or run away. So it's many times, if you are going to be attacked, no way you can escape, because elephants can outrun you, human. People think we can run away. Elephants, the way elephant can take off, it will outrun any normal human being. So these are some of the harmful effects we come across. Uninformed people, tourists coming into those, even photographers, uninformed, careless people, they do such damages. Cigarette smoking in the forest or throwing away the butt, all those things can create. The forest fire is not easy to put off. It will cause a lot of damage to not only the nature, but so much of animals. This is another thing. I don't want to name the place, but the very close proximity to National Reserve, you find so much of garbage. So these wildlife end up eating all those things. I don't want to mention that, sorry. So conservation photography in wildlife and nature photography with a mission. Conservation photography, I mean, it's the same as part of wildlife photography, but it's with a mission. It's a deliberate use of photos to expand public awareness in conservation efforts and advocate welfare of wildlife, earth, ecosystem, and environment by creating, sharing, evocative